Imagine walking away from the person you care about most, just to subject yourself to years of, like, bone-breaking, isolating physical torture. That's exactly the brutal reality Eris is choosing in Season 3 of Mushoku Tensei. Jobless Reincarnation, which premieres July 5th, 2026 on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it's a massive tonal shift.
Right. So welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to explore why this upcoming season isn't just a continuation. It's honestly a massive declaration of intent for the blueprint of the isekai genre.
Oh, absolutely.
So, okay, let's unpack this. We are basically trading the cozy, slice-of-life college drama of Season 2 for this gritty, high-stakes martial arts boot camp. So, what does this all mean for the story's overall tone?
Well, the focus is finally shifting back to our fiery redhead Eris and her grueling training at the Sword Sanctum. But it's not just a typical training arc, it's more like forging a blade.
Oh, I really like that analogy.
Yeah, she has to be repeatedly melted down and hammered out before she actually becomes useful. She is willingly putting herself through this crucible.
Yeah.
Because she just refuses to stand beside Rudeus unless she's his absolute equal.
I mean, that is intense. But let me challenge the scale of this for a second, because Eris is entering this fierce, battle-hardened environment, and the casting announcements definitely reflect that.
They really do.
Yeah.
The new talent is incredible.
Right. Like, they brought in literal anime royalty. You've got Tetsuya Nada voicing the Sword God, Galfarian, and Haruka Tamatsu as Nina Farian. But here's where it gets really interesting for me. I mean, we know Inada voices the powerhouse Endeavor in My Hero Academia, but we've seen literal dragon gods in this show.
Right.
Doesn't bringing in an old guy with a sword completely dwarf the scale of the threats we've seen so far? Like, is he actually going to feel like an exponential threat to you?
What's fascinating here is that it absolutely will because, well, the mechanics of the threat are just completely different now. I mean, a dragon god is this massive, almost abstract force of nature, right?
Yeah, totally untouchable.
Exactly. But the sword god is an immediate visceral danger standing, like 3 feet away from you. And tapping such intense, prestigious veterans like Inada for the Sword Sanctum signals to you exactly how dangerous Eris's new world is.
Oh, wow. So it's a very grounded kind of fear.
Totally. The production team specifically cast Inada because he doesn't just play loud characters. He plays characters whose sheer physical presence just suffocates the room. The moment he speaks, the auditory cue immediately tells you Eris is entirely out of her depth. The fear shifts from epic fantasy destruction to, I might get decapitated in the next half second.
That is terrifying. And that kind of immediate, suffocating danger definitely requires a different visual approach, too. Is that why Studio Bind brought in a new director, Ryusuke Shibuya, for this season?
Precisely. Because you just can't shoot a high-speed martial arts survival story the same way you shoot a quiet university family drama.
No, that makes total sense.
So Shibuya taking the helm means we're going to see a major shift in the visual language. You can expect faster, far more kinetic storyboarding and dynamic camera work to match Eris's aggressive, frantic swordplay.
Wow.
Yeah, remember, Studio Bind was created solely to adapt this 26-volume epic, and they're pulling out all the stops under Shibuya to prove they can pivot tones flawlessly.
Which is just a massive production flex. And that flex doesn't stop with the visual camera work either. It bleeds right into the music. We have franchise mainstay Yuiko Ohara returning for the opening theme, giving you a nice familiar anchor.
Which is always great.
Exactly. But then, for the ending theme, they secured J-pop legend Mika Nakashima. I mean, to me, that's like bringing a blockbuster cinematic composer onto a TV show.
It really is. And it's a brilliant narrative mechanism. Bringing in Nakashima isn't just a budget flex, Her specific vocal style, which is often very melancholic but incredibly powerful, perfectly mirrors Eris's psychological state.
Oh, because she's going through so much.
Right. Eris is dealing with intense isolation, regret, and just the heavy consequences of her past choices. Nakashima's music is basically designed to anchor that emotional weight at the end of every brutal episode.
So that massive scale, the elite voice cast, the shifting directorial style, the iconic musicians, it all makes perfect sense when you realize the emotional weight her internal journey has to carry.
Exactly.
They really need that blockbuster framework.
They do.
Yeah.
And this intense momentum is feeding into the franchise's wider expansion right now. Like we were seeing it with the upcoming Japanese release of the mobile game Chronicle of Echoes. They're basically building an empire around this property.
Yeah, they really are.
And this grueling, high-stake third season is positioned as the crown jewel. It proves this season isn't just about swordplay. It's about the consequences of past choices and the drive to become a person worthy of respect.
Man, she's just tearing herself down to rebuild herself into something undeniable.
Precise.
Which leaves you with a really compelling contradiction to mull over. In a genre built almost entirely on instant wish fulfillment, where protagonists are usually just handed incredible power on a silver platter, how does watching a character willingly endure such grueling, isolating training to overcome her past fundamentally rewrite the rules of the typical isekai power fantasy? Definitely something to think about before July 5th.